Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Coleffel with Fivetran. I look after partner sales engineering, and I'm here with Arushi.
Hi, I'm Arushi Basan, Director of Solution Architecture here at Fivetran. Today we want to talk to you about manufacturing. Kelly, with the given economic pressures, supply chain disruptions, labor shortages, a lot of the customers that I'm meeting today in the manufacturing space are asking how they can leverage modern data stack to address some of these challenges. Are you hearing something similar?
Yeah, it is, and you're right. I mean, you look back maybe even a few years ago, it's a lot more complicated today, Arushi, to really make sense of what's going on to be the best manufacturer that you're able to be. And I think that the complications are, to me, and this is what I hear most, is I've got a lot of different data sources out there. A lot of manufacturers have been there for a while. They're great companies, but legacy systems that have just grown up over time. Another thing very popular in the manufacturing space is acquisitions, and acquisitions generally bring even more data sources in. And so you've got this combination of a lot of legacy data sources plus proliferating data sources. And certainly manufacturers are using new and highly used, highly leveraged cloud data sources as well, like Salesforce or maybe Zendesk, those types of things. It all starts with how can I, as a manufacturer, really start getting my data silos organized in a way so I can start making better decisions. And when you look at the three major categories that we hear more than anything, it's things like this. It's help me use data to make my supply chain more efficient or get better quality and design decisions made. Product optimization, I need to be in it more innovative, and you can't obviously leave out, it's not listed up there, but things like sales and marketing, I need to do a better job of that and do more with my data.
Absolutely, and let's not forget about those order management systems, those vendor systems that add to that data silos that we see in manufacturing and supply chain industries a lot.
Yeah, quality, planning, demand forecasting, it just goes on, and you go, well, isn't all this handled by my ERP? Well, a lot of times, like I said, you might have multiple ERPs, and usually there are a number of operational applications that sit outside of the ERP system that are running some of these really critical applications. The good news is they run on relational databases.
Draw it out for me. How does a manufacturer leverage Fivetran to build their modern data stack using all of these data silos in DB2, SQL Server, and how do they connect it to their data lake or data warehouse of their choice?
Yeah, all right, let's step through it. I'm gonna try to go end to end here for you, Arushi. So let's start with, you talked about some of the data sources, the key data sources just now. And again, when you look at the proliferation of relational databases within a manufacturer, you are gonna see things, as you said, like DB2, SQL Server, and Oracle. Now, I left one out so far, SAP, which I'm gonna drag down now. That can be a challenging data source, and most manufacturers that are on an SAP platform, it's not just one vanilla flavor of SAP. They may be running SAP ECC6, they may be running HANA, they may be running flavors of BW, and all types of variations within the SAP ecosystem. And then also running operational applications, maybe my demand forecasting or planning on one of these relational databases. So this is, to me, one of the primary data sources within the most manufacturers' ecosystems. That's not it though. I could be a relatively new manufacturer that's running something like NetSuite, a different flavor of ERP. Or, we talked about Oracle Database, I might be running Oracle EBS as my ERP with manufacturing. One of the challenges that I was given just not too long ago from a manufacturer was, we've got multiple flavors of ERP out there. They were all Oracle ERP, 3 different locations, all running their own instance. It was not a single global instance, which is nice to have if you're a manufacturer, but a lot of them don't. And so they had 3 different instances, and they were trying to develop some of these analytics-based outcomes across the entire organization, all their product lines. Well, it was really tough to do, and so the challenge was, Kelly, fill this in for us. How do we get to a consolidated data outcome around supply chain efficiency or sales or forecasting demand planning in the context of analytics, when I've got multiples of these data sources out here.
Right. That seems like a very daunting challenge, Kelly.
It is. It is. We talked about SAP HANA or BW. Those are fairly high costs to run your enterprise data warehouse in, and nobody's going to turn off HANA by any means. But running your data warehouse workloads in HANA or your data lake workloads in HANA can be really, really costly. You see Teradata, you see Netezza, you see some of these platforms out there that manufacturers now are saying, I want to move to Snowflake or Databricks or Synapse or Redshift or BigQuery, one of the big 5 cloud data platforms. For purposes of this, let's say that we selected Snowflake as our primary cloud data platform. And over here, Arushi, these data sources could be on-prem. In many cases with manufacturers they are, or they could be in the cloud. I could be running, I don't know, my SQL server in a VM. I could be running it, in my local data center on a set of servers, a set of servers. So either way is fine. I need to get those cloud and on-premise sources up to Snowflake. Now, before I do that, let's throw in a couple of others. Those manufacturers are using some way to manage their customers, their accounts, all of that customer data. Salesforce is very popular, maybe Dynamics or something like that too. I typically also see if there's been some cloud adoption, then I'm using a file object store like S3 or ADLS to store almost anything. Just think any type of file. I could have spreadsheets out there, PDFs, whatever it may be. And I'm not going to leave out the good old spreadsheets too, because so many companies, whether it's manufacturing or other industries, depend on spreadsheets even today. So,
absolutely. We're thinking location data, we're thinking data from the vendors. That all comes in either through spreadsheets or through CSV. And I really like that you're talking about S3 there and Google Sheet as an option as well, so that when you're blending data and when you're trying to think about centralizing data, you're not just thinking about your ERP systems, you're figuring out ways to enrich that data so that when it lands in the data lake or in the data warehouse, it already is to a very close stage where teams can start taking action on it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's critical. I mean, look at one of the big benefits of Fivetran is we support over 260 data sources, and I know that we're going to be way beyond that in another 12 months. And it's across all these different categories: apps, databases, files, events. I can create custom connectors if I want. So supporting this wide range of sources that's really who we are. To continue on with the story and in this scenario of, again, multiple data sources out here, let's develop some of these final data outcomes. Selected Snowflake. I mean, that's it's a big decision. There's a lot of great options out there. In this case, the client selected Snowflake, and then it becomes, how do I then, now that I have the central core with Snowflake, I can run a variety of workloads. I could run data lake workloads in Snowflake. I could run data warehousing workloads, data engineering workloads, data science workloads, data sharing, collaboration. Maybe I want to collaborate with my distribution network or even my retailers potentially. There's a number of different workloads that Snowflake supports, but I still depend on data for those workloads and ultimately those data outcomes. So that's where Fivetran comes in. We're going to sit between your either cloud or on-prem data sources, and we're going to connect up all of these data sources to your cloud data platform. I'll do a couple of arrows here. In this case, Snowflake. And in a lot of cases, it's not necessarily going to be the final mile, final curated, let me take action on that data set. We're going to give you at Fivetran a normalized, understandable, highly usable data set, but might use something like DBT or Coalesce or another transformation tool to give me that final curated data set to do this last mile data outcome that I need. And from there, I could use Tableau, I could use Looker, or those are some typical visualization or BI tools, and I'm going to develop those reports and analytics products off of, but that could be a could be a new data application or any data product or service that is needed to deliver those outcomes.
Absolutely. So you're telling me engineers are now can spend less and less time building these pipelines and maintaining them because Fivetran is a fully managed tool, and spending more time really in this space, specifically around how to get data from here in the raw space to actionable right here, so that business derives value out of their IT investment.
You said it perfectly. Fully managed, fully automated. I would say that any of these data sources, any of them, we can get you set up and persisting data into Snowflake in 10 minutes or less. As long as I have the authentication credentials.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're talking about under 10 minutes, what is the sync time then we're looking at in these connectors? Because real-time, as you know, real-time insights is what businesses is looking at today.
It's a great question. So the vast majority of our connectors are a 5-minute sync up to 24 hours for the vast, and almost anything in between. Now, we've got some high volume database connectors as well, DB2, SQL Server, Oracle, and SAP, that go all the way down to a 1-minute sync frequency. So, for those higher volume applications, let's say where you're doing more than 5 megs to 10 megs of change volume per second, then you are going to want to go with that high volume and set that sync frequency down to 1 minute versus 5 minutes.
That is really excellent. All the 3 challenges that we talked about in the beginning around labor shortages, economic pressures, supply chain disruptions really get addressed with those 1 to 5 minute syncs. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. I'm Arushi.
I'm Kelly. Keep an eye out for more great content.